Welcome to the Epik Mellon podcast, conversations with the real humans behind broadband networks, cybersecurity, and the future of communications. Brought to you by QA Cafe.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another cool in-person episode of the Epik Mellon podcast. I am Jason from QA Cafe, and Madhura here is with me, who I have now known for quite a few years, who made the terrible mistake of saying something in a standards meeting. And now she's one of us.
Forever.
But I wanted to get her on the show for a while, and here we are in Milan at the 2026 Summer Broadband Forum meeting. And I've done a couple of these live ones.
Yeah, I think from the very beginning of this series, we were talking about this. We could never gather.
Right. Well, because you wanted to do it in person.
Yeah.
She was very adamant about it, which is cool. As always, this podcast is brought to you by my employers at QA Cafe. And as such, the views of myself and Madhura do not reflect those of QA Cafe or its ownership. And it is brought to you by our three great products at QA Cafe. The first being CDRouter, the industry standard test platform for broadband gateways, Wi-Fi devices, and other customer premises equipment with over 10,000 test cases that are pre-built by industry experts based on standards like the ones that we build here that fully integrates with your CI/CD systems and helps you build better products overall. The second being CloudShark Enterprise, which is our enterprise-grade answer to packet capture analysis and being able to deploy it across your whole organization, including our new Deep Search API, which now sort of turns your entire packet capture repositories into a source of data for your SIEM and SOAR automation systems. And then Packet Viewer, which is the power behind CloudShark, which lets you add Wireshark equivalent packet capture analysis to any cloud-managed cybersecurity or networking product. You can find all more about these at www.qacafe.com. See, I have that memorized.
How do you do that? I wanted to ask that. You're good.
Like doing it over.
No, but you're,
So, like, I don't know if you watch the show at all, but, like, I'm always very interested in knowing how people got into stuff like this.
Yeah.
So we'll start at the beginning and get to the point where, how many years has it been?
So far with BBS?
Yeah.
I think it started in 2023, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not that long ago.
I know, but it feels like I'm here forever. I've been here for a really long time.
Right.
The way Rhonda and I, and also with Justin, we were talking, and like it really feels like that you were here forever. And yeah, I feel so too.
Is that a good thing or?
I don't know, but I feel it. So.
So we were talking a little bit last night about how you did actually do this on purpose.
I didn't do this. Because you always keep saying that many people you have met yourself that mostly started off something else and then came into this path.
Right.
For me, it's the other way around. I think I really wanted to, be in this path, and then I am in in this path. So I think it started when I was really, when I was 10 or 11 years old or something. When it was the time when you're in your school and your computer lessons are slowly gonna start, and it's the time when it was really, I don't know, 1995ish, 2000, that range. And then you have these. You keep walking around the corridors where there's a lab of computers, and then at some point you get an access to it, and you get to really do something.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel, oh, wow, this is cool. I want to do more.
Right.
But you can't do more in your school. So
that happened to me too. I remember because when I was learning computers for the first time, it was all Apple IIe's, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So we learned how to write BASIC, and I thought it was the greatest thing to make an infinite loop printout on the scan and then leave.
That's how it was. It started, but then I was drawn towards computers and technology and science, and I also had this belief that if I really want to do something, I really wanted to be in technology or
cool.
This area.
Or networking specifically. You also said that you started to have. But...
networking. I think as more and more as I started to explore all the programming, computers, and all of that. I think the moment of that was a time of internet, and in the beginning, you didn't have internet at your home, so you need to go to a cafe where you can rent an internet for like 30 minutes, and you can browse what you want and come home and do your project. That was the time. But then somehow that whole thing of doing it, and also, for your school projects where, there was a time when, you always had this floppy. That was back when, those small floppy disks. And then you really go to a cafe to plug it in, to download what you want onto it, and then go to school to make a project.
Huh. Wow.
And the moment that, and there were times when it didn't work, and I don't know why it didn't work. So all of these cumulatively over the years went into me, and it felt like, okay, I need to do something.
Right. So it was like the function of things being frustratingly not working. You're like, I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah. And there are instances where I've completely opened it up, messed it up. I've done everything.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But then that seed started to slowly grow over time. And when I had to make a decision of what I'm going to study, I picked up computer science, and I really studied. And during those years, what has happened is I knew what I really didn't want to do. Like, I didn't want to write Java applications, on application level. I really wanted to be somewhere close to the device.
Right.
That's how it all started. When I started the real stuff, that's when, and then slowly things started to happen, and I hit upon the broadband gateways, residential gateways, and things like that. I found it very interesting. Also, I think in hindsight, because I grew up, or my formative years were mostly in the time when you really had your, you didn't have internet connection into your home, to getting the first internet connection to your home via, I think it was DSL at that time. And then really seeing it all works, and you don't need to have to go to the internet cafe now, and you can do it at your home and browse things at home and have your own email address and send an email to your friend. It sounds now to this era a bit nostalgic.
No,
but
it was pretty novel, because I experienced that in the 90s with, starting with dial-up modems and bulletin board services and all those things.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely the same experience. I was like, okay, whoa, this is a totally different way of interacting with the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like I got the bug by watching the handshake codes go back and forth. And I'm like, what is that?
What is it?
Right?
Yeah. So, that's when, these all kept having more layers on me, and then and then things started to happen. And
when did you start working for various CP companies?
I think it was 15 years ago or something I started. But now, and there was a point where there was this, I think it's very that was all just devices, random embedded devices, and looking at embedded code and those type of things.
Right.
But the real thing happened. Actually, it happened with almost like with QA Cafe or the CDRouter, I must say, because that was when I was really looking at, okay, how do you really test this, and how do you? And then there is the CDRouter, which I really liked, or in a way, the fact that you can simulate your entire operator or in your entire network environment in a way, and you can really test your device without, as a device, not really going into the console or whatever, but just you have your device that you use at your home, that type of production units, we call it.
Right.
So those devices, and you can really test them.
Right.
And
it reduces the number of variables, right?
Exactly.
And because you've run into situations.
I hold my fair share of really writing the test, filling the test variables, and figuring out which test and for which bug, which country issue, which test we need to run to really hit that issue. I've really had my great time with.
Did you hear that one? I'm going to use that later. This would be like, oh man, the configs are so complex. Where I'm like, no, Madhura loves them.
I'm a big fan, I must say, of CDRouter. I do think it's a great tool, because the thing is, you can really get at the issues, and also very quickly. And also you have the packet traces, so you know what exactly is happening.
Right.
Right? I mean, if you know all of these things and you just, in one shot, you give me all this data, I can quickly say, okay, what's causing this issue? Then it's a matter of thing for the development groups to really go to their code and do what is needed and everything.
Right.
But
and I've always found that like the cool thing about testing, even when, when I was at UNH, is that, and actually this is a question too, like, do you have sort of more junior people who are able to use the ability to look at testing to learn the protocols a little bit better, kind of a thing?
No, I think it's a mindset thing. I don't know. I got drawn into it like that.
Yeah.
I got really, because I was looking at RFCs also, but then this was like, okay, you have the RFC and I know what we're using it for, but then do we have a test to really test what we are looking for, right? That type of parallels, and that really helped me in a way as I moved forward to really put in requirement definitions and to really say, how should a device be? And so we had this project where we had to kind of look at the standards and say what really we want to pick it up from the standard and what we want to do. And this whole experience kind of really helped me to put it in on paper, like, okay, the other way around. And then I came across TR1 to 4.
Right. I was like, and then not by accident. That's the thing that you're working on here.
Yeah. And then I came across TR1 to 4 and hey, okay, we wanted to, because that was the time when we were looking for writing requirements for fiber devices. And then, so I wanted to really do what is standard. I was looking, what is the standard for residential gateways for fiber? And you get...
Wow, I'm so glad Google picked that up. So for people who don't know, TR124 is it's another technical standard from the Broadband Forum, and it basically like outlines a huge list of features that a gateway might support, and if they do, how they have to support it. So like operators can use it to say, hey, build exactly this.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make that better.
We're trying to make it a lot better. Yeah. And also, I think while I'm working with it, I realized that it kind of has the entire history of the evolution of internet array, right? It does. I was the other day when there was into my house, they are putting the fiber cable, fiber connection for the XGS-PON connection. And then, my house is a very old house. It's like 100-year-old or something or more. And I opened the meter board. You can see the entire evolution of technology in that one meter. Yeah, it left there. And the moments they witnessed in their lifetime when all those things happens.
Wow, it's
in
like
one
a
meter,
tree, like the rings.
Yeah, in one meter board. And then now I'm witnessing the moment where the fiber is coming into this house, into this meter cast, and I'm witnessing it. That's
right.
Yeah. So. Yeah, so that's when it started, and I was looking for the fiber devices to put in the requirements, especially the DHCP options and, overall device requirements. And that's where I saw, okay, there's not a lot with NTP requirements here, and can we do something?
Yeah. So that's Madhura came in and suggested one additional change to 124, and we're like, how about instead you take over the whole project?
And I thought,
right.
And then all of this happened. Yeah.
No, and I was talking to I was talking to Anne from the Thread group.
Yeah.
On my last episode, or like 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And she kind of like we were talking about how being passionate about this is weird, and how you just are, and then you're like, you just really care about getting this done and making sure that it's clear, right?
Yeah.
And it's like not everybody will do that,
No, that I've heard many times, but it just happens. I know with certain people, I would say, and then that I've seen many times on BBF also.
Right.
I really feel like my people, my home, that feeling.
No,
and
it is. It's a big feel.
Yeah, and that's that type of thinking and that way of doing standards, and and there are many moments that there's something new technology, new thing you hear, and I'm saying, okay, maybe we should look at this from a BBF angle. And guess what? There's already an NPF ongoing, or there's some discussion, or there's an ongoing base summit that's going to be, or there's going to be a webinar. There's something that's happening, which is that's one thing I really like, that we are always as BBF in the current, times, and having the discussions that is needed to be done in the present, which are really needed at the moment, that is to be had.
Right.
So,
we always say sort of about the broadband forum that it's like what's the phrase that won't necessarily translate to every language, but where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of people who build standards kind of academically.
Yeah.
Whereas we're like, okay, how is this actually going to work in real life?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which you've run into where we're like, okay, yes, this is how people should do it.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna.
No, they're not gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. Then how are we gonna solve it? That's like my daily thing.
No.
But yeah, that's where it started, and I think, and with that, my journey with 1 to 4 started, and then the versions of 1 to 4 from there on. Yeah, I think we did 1, and now I'm really looking forward for version 10.
Yeah, the next one's cool and big.
Yeah, cool and big, and I really want it to be really big.
Yeah.
Or
because it's going away from just being a thing that you read to like. And there's a whole other video about this, so we don't have to dive too much into it.
No.
Long story short,
but there's going to be a lot of
an automatic way that somebody can select requirements and make an RFP and be like, here you go. Oh, great.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I think it's going to be useful for. I know the pain, so it's going to be.
No, exactly. But you do, and that's what's cool, right?
Yeah.
Is like, when we're making standards, practical standards about how it's going to work in real life. It's like, this is all coming from a place of frustration.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think with every standard in a one way or the other, it's, frustration has a bit of negative connotation, but it's also the passion to make it, a much better and usable for the wider community.
Right.
And that I also believe in that, where technology and science and everything has the power to, reach people, connect people in general, in a way.
And like with standards, I always feel it's like the telephone game, right?
Yeah.
So like the reason why that frustration exists is because if something's not clear, or nobody did write it down and try to standardize it, then there's several layers of indirection of someone saying, I want this, and then the person building it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you've seen that
where we can wipe that out.
Exactly. And make it simple and easy for everyone. And then, of course, everybody wants to do business, and everybody wants to have their secret sauce. That's fine. But basics can still be basics, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's cool. I've actually found like the analogs to a board, making a board game, right?
Yeah.
And working in standards has helped me understand that when it meets reality, it's not going to be the same.
Right. No.
So you have this perfect idea of how things are supposed to work.
Yeah. And
you're like, go read this.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, that's not what I meant at all.
That I've seen many times also with data model, that was also an interesting part with data model, because started with SNMP, and then looking at SNMP, we knew what we wanted, and then looking at those, what SNMP now is equivalent to TR69s, so that we can get it implemented.
Right.
So I was part of that activity. And then maybe at some point it will also be for the USB.
Right.
But
Right. Which is good, because it's like SNMP, and then there's a couple of other IETF specs where it's like subtly or not subtly embedded in the spec is, under no circumstances should you use this over a wide area network.
Here we go.
It is not secure. We don't intend to make it secure.
No,
so don't
use it. Yeah, I think slowly we have to start moving towards USB, and I do see a lot of benefits of using that, but I think it's going to take a while, for service providers to make this decision.
Yeah, and it's like we've said before, I've talked about USB a lot on the show.
Okay.
So it's,
I don't know if I'm going.
The quick rundown. We made a management protocol in 2004, which let operators remotely control and configure your home router, right? So that they could set it up without visiting you. It used to be like a CD-ROM.
Oh, yeah.
And that was done using some technologies that were around at the time.
Right.
Those got old. Yeah. And then we decided to make effectively the 2.0 version of that, which is much faster, but it also has things about it that make it so it's not just a replacement for Tier 16 Air. It's a totally more advanced and new thing that opens up new possibilities, right? And that's where it's hard to get, not necessarily hard to get people to understand, because then they have to be like, oh, well, I have this thing already. You know, is it just the same thing but better? Oh, no, right? Because we've had some operators who are like, we're going to move to USP by just putting it on new stuff. Or for new use. Because there's some things you just can't do with Tier 16.
Exactly. I mean, that also reminds me of the discussion, how far we're going to keep supporting, or, you know, are we going to...
Shh. Don't scare people. TR69 will be around and perfectly fine for a long time. You have nothing to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it going away and us never supporting or talking about it again.
Yeah, you saying this is going to not make people not move on.
Yeah. I don't want to scare people. That's why they said that we couldn't deprecate it. We had to...
ICV6. Huh? I don't even want to go there.
You can go there. We go there all the time. I went there on the last episode. And every time I have Tim Winters on, we talk about it. 25 years. I keep saying 25 years, but it's 30 now.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. So we need to move on, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
And that the people are still trying to reuse IPv4 addresses that.
Yeah, it's a little
bit longer.
Yeah.
But we have the same thing in Tier 69 where people are like, oh, can you backport this functionality? And we're like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's where look, there are benefits. I do see why service providers, or in general, they are hesitant to move towards USB because of the cost and all of that things. But at some point we have to go there, right? Otherwise we can't keep. Now there are so many security requirements and everything. We have regulatory and all of that. You can properly meet with USB. Right. So that's more from that angle. Also, it makes a lot of sense to kind of switch to USB. Yeah, but it's going to be a soft switch. I mean, soft transitioning, or it's going to be a hard one. That's
and we wrote the Broadband Forum wrote a white paper about this, and basically like there are different approaches. You know, it's like either you just dive in, or you run both for a while, or you just run it on new things.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that's good. But it's been fun. It's like you said. It's this. You come into this world and you meet all these people, you know.
Right.
And I always joke that, like, I see these people more than I see most of my friends at home, right there.
There's just the ones.
You know. And it's cool. It's very, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, in a way, it's also like, the way I look at it is also like, you know, day-to-day work. You already, you know, it's something like you work with CWRP and those type of things, which are from the past. But then this whole week of BBF kind of re-energizes you. And then, you know, it kind of charges you up to like for the next 3-4 months to be kind of really going with everything. You know, that's you can only feel it. I mean, you cannot express it, I would say. But
and it's true, and I forget too, right? Because ADHD or whatever, but I get sort of down about stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, do I really want to work on this right now? Yeah. And then you come here and you're like, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah. Madly, that it's and also the passion in the people to do something which is standard, and it's you see it everywhere in the discussions, in the hallways, in the coffee discussions, wherever it is. It's so nice to see people all over the world coming together, talking for internet standards. I think
in person, very important.
In person, and
very important.
Having great conversations like we are having. So.
Yeah, there was a time a few years ago where some stuff went down.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, maybe we don't have to go to meetings anymore. Yeah. Everybody knows why. Yeah. But no, you you can't replace this. Now,
face-to-face meeting and discussions, they're always, I believe that they're always useful, or it's a standard for
right.
way of doing things. Yeah. I mean, I also go to my work every day, I like to meet people and work from workplace.
Right.
So
Well, and it also helps with that whole reality thing because there is, in the same sense that it's awesome watching somebody play with something that you created.
Yeah.
Every now and then we'll get people who have been like working on USP alone or without talking to us for a while, and they're super jazzed about it. And they come to us and they're like, look at all this stuff I did. We're like, whoa. You know? Yeah. It's very cool. Yeah. It's and you know, I feel like I like that you mentioned that re-energization because it's really true.
Yeah.
Like we get here and we remember what it is that we're doing.
Yeah.
And we get to hear cool stories like that from people that we haven't talked to before.
Exactly. And that gives you different ideas and when you're back again to work or after many days again. And that whole experience is something one has to experience it.
Right.
But once you experience it, you want more.
You're in. It will make you do work and you'll love it.
That's what
Madhura is the case study for all it's really. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
No, I'm really glad you did, and I really appreciate it. Because the whole thing about 124 was kind of just a dream in the back of our heads, being like, you know what we should really do?
Yeah. But
we didn't really have.
It's taking a while, but I think we are slowly getting there. It's a huge. Because there's always this question: should I keep this or should I throw it away? And you know me, I want to throw it away, but.
There have been some times where you're like, no, people still use that.
People still use it, yeah. So I'm really curious when it goes out there and we get feedback from different people who are using it and saying, hey, we don't use this anymore. Or do we use this and we want to use something more?
Oh, you're right.
And those type of things coming back.
Fair.
And then seeing and how we can further fine-tune it.
It's sort of like lighting the fire of chaos.
Right.
You'd be like, sorry, we took this out. And they were like, what? I needed that. Oh, they're like, oh, you did? Okay, we'll put it back.
Yeah.
But better.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it has its, own fun.
It was very dusty.
Yeah.
There were some things in there, like, that I don't know why. Just to explain to everybody how crazy this was.
Yes.
There was something, there was an entire section of this specification that listed specific video games for which you should open ports for. And this was like, they're all gone. None of these games exist anymore. And it was like, why did we do that?
It was fun to look at those, and it's like, okay, it's something very, very back. I think even before my time,
right?
Really.
And I don't know, but I like that it's in there in the old versions. Can it be like, I bet you don't have any other specs where that say download to in them.
Yeah, that's also the reason when we were thinking that do we continue 1.2.4 or do we go with a new TR, and we decided that we go with 1.2.4 in a new revised version. I do like that idea because it kind of has, if you open it's like the meter board,
Yeah.
It has the
history
and everything. It's sometimes you need to keep looking at such things.
That's really cool. Maybe we should sort of do that as just like a cool thing of going through and just talking about the old stuff that was in there as a map of how broadband has evolved. Yeah. That's really neat.
Yeah. For me personally, being part of BBF and also Broadband Forum and also 1.2.4 and connected youth, everything that is associated, I always dreamt of it, that I want to be something part of a bigger and global thing for technology. But I didn't know how that would manifest and how that would happen. Like when I was in my university, when you read the books in the beginning, you have the first few pages has so many things about standardization, what standard bodies are, what they are. We'll take up any university books, like any language or whatever. I had the habit of reading from page 0 to everything. So in the beginning, there's always things about standardization, different standards, bodies, and how, for example, if C, you have all the evolution of different standards in C and IC, all the C and everything. So you have everything. So I used to always wonder, would there be any moments in my life where I would be part of something of this sort? Those thoughts years ago passed my head, but I never thought it would come into reality this way.
Right.
So I feel very grateful and also, humbled.
It's
It was a universe that conspired to make this happen.
Yeah. No, it is, right? It is the universe that conspires to make that happen. Like, it's like very accidental things happen. Like, even me, it's like if I hadn't been doing the work that I was doing and decided to stand up and leave and go to a different room, then none of this would happen.
Right? Yeah. You think of those moments where there was or really a split second or, a change of decision would have led to a completely different path.
Right.
And then you did the other and you're here.
Right.
So that is very...
No, and I that's honestly like one of the things that I hold very dearly that I forget.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people, like, if you think that you should, there's something you want to say, stand up and say it. Because if you don't, right? Like, it's in getting over imposter syndrome is hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Until you realize that everybody has it. But like, but like, do it. Like every single awesome change in my life has because I decided to do something rather than not do something.
Exactly. I also relate to that so much that I think all of this, I remember the specific moments when I had to say something, when I had to do something, I did it.
Right.
Right or wrong, I'm a bit of a perfectionist and all that. But
oh, are you?
Yeah. Didn't you see my metaphor is getting this out of it? I want everything to be. It's never the case. I accept it, but I want to make it really, really nice. Really, I have that in me.
Right.
So, yeah. But then also going past all of that and just doing things, right? So, and that's, I do see that's, we should just do things.
No, and it is, I don't want to say that everybody can be that kind of person, but like being a change agent is really sometimes just about saying something because a lot of people might have had the idea, but don't have they don't have the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that also, I see that in all BBF discussions also here.
Right.
Everybody, that it's so open, it's so collaborative, it's incredibly fascinating to be part of it.
Right.
And also very satisfying, and it kind of, you're really wanting to be part of it, because of that energy, because of that type of conversation, because of that openness, and people saying what they think. That's why the standards that comes as an outcome of these type of discussions are also great.
Right.
So that's where I feel so much happy to be here and have these conversations, and
we're very happy to have you here. The one thing I did want to say, and just as my opinions don't reflect those of QA Cafe, my opinions do not reflect those of the Broadband Forum either, by the way.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That said, I think you would have maybe had different and more frustrating experiences in some of those other more governmental official standards bodies that are out there.
That's a very interesting way of putting it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the same.
No.
ITF is great. It's very, very dynamic, like here.
Yeah.
Right. Like very open. Everybody's sort of saying what they there. But like when you're talking about the big, like,
this is more engineering.
International government-backed ones. Well, I won't name names, but they're not quite as fun.
I've not been in one of them, but I can say.
Well, you mentioned like the ones you're reading in your books, right? And it's like, oh, the ISO and the ITUT,
But then I'm really glad. It feels like, for me, like when I wake up every morning, I feel so satisfied and so happy that whatever so many little things that I was thinking as a child and as a teenager, it's all turned into reality.
That's
right?
Cool.
So
that's very cool.
I'm almost living my dream every day.
That's awesome. That is great to hear. It's like that. What is that thought experiment where they're like, "Well, would your teenage self be proud of you or whatever like that?" You're like, yeah, actually,
yeah. Because I remember during my university, I was really like this person who was doing all this open source free software, name it. I'd gone to the Richard Stallman talks and even Mockland talks and whatnot. I used to be there. And then I never knew at that point I would be part of all of this.
Yeah.
But then in a way, all of that's led to this. Now if I look back, it's all in hindsight, but yeah.
Right.
It feels good. That's, yeah. feels very good. So, yeah. How things just, connect itself at some point, and it just happens.
Yeah.
And you're glad that it happens because at some point you always wanted to be that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for finally doing this.
Yeah. No, you don't have to.
I say finally.
Yeah, I know.
Well, like, hey, do you want to be on the show yet? Hey, do you want to be on the show yet? Hey, do you want to be on the show yet?
I think from the beginning, I guess, right?
Yeah.
From the very first, we talked about why it's called Epik Mellon, and we kept, and then I wanted to do face-to-face, and there were other things that happened, and it was great. So finally we are here, and finally the day has arrived. Where we are.
If you have any questions for Madhura, who's very deep in the CPU development world and knows a lot about a lot of things, please drop them in the comments, and do subscribe to this so that you can always get updated on all of the new things and real people in networking that I interview here. And above all, own the nerdy things you love and have fun doing them. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree.